Way overdue for another video. Super interesting. The diet wars never stop. We got carnivore all the way to vegan to everything in between. Keto, animal-based, plant-based, lion diet. All this stuff, super interesting. I've been through, run the gauntlet, experimented with a lot of these different diet, nutrition, lifestyle approaches, and I've learned a lot. I'm a videographer, visual media producer, as well as a personal trainer and weight loss coach, right? So I got some interesting perspectives on how I look at this stuff, but I really approach it from journalistic integrity, and I really like to leave no stone unturned when I get into this whole diet nutrition discussion. And like I said, I've tried a lot of different approaches. I've had successes and failures. I've seen upsides and downsides in a lot of these different approaches. But it's just so interesting to see within the whole carnivore thing, which is something I actually advocate for and I coach. And again, I don't like to get into brand names. Interesting, because I work in visual media, right? And branding and marketing. But I personally don't like to get into the brand names, because then it has this whole tribalism thing with it, and I try to avoid the tribalism thing, because then people get in these less objective positions where they need to stick to their tribe and sometimes find themselves not being fully honest about what's going on with their diet and nutrition approach. Now, I like the idea that people are putting a lot of energy into this, but when you get into this weird thing where people feel like they need a community or they need a group and they got to like lock into this particular thought process to stay a part of the group or part of the tribe, that's where it gets a little bit slippery, because no one can eat for you. So you have to be honest about your nutrition dietary approach and see how it's impacting your body, your unique story. So it gets really tricky when you say, I'm a part of team this or that, plant-based, animal-based, carnivore, keto, whatever. Because ultimately, it's about you and your body and your nutrition and your cells, your metabolism, how these nutrients are interacting with your body based on your personal past story. But I gotta say, it is somewhat entertaining, because, you know, we all need the entertainment, and conflict sells. And I've been hesitant to even post and talk about some of this stuff. I've been coaching people just kind of one-on-one behind the scenes. But I've been wanting to get active with content, but at the same time, as I get older, I'm coming up on 48 in a couple of months, staying healthy, staying fit, and I want to stay mentally fit, right? I'm big on physical fitness, mental fitness, and it's just better for my well-being to kind of focus in on, let's just avoid some of the conflict and chaos that comes with creating content and having to, you know, fall into a niche. And let's just be honest, it's really not beneficial from a content perspective to call it down the middle, because for the point that I just illustrated, the whole tribalism thing, people want you to come this way or come that way or be a part of this team. Now, again, I get it, right? It's human nature. It makes for good entertainment. There's a good side, the bad side, whatever, right? But it is, you know, it's nutrition. This is individual, personalized to a lot of people. Obviously, we're all human beings, but we all have individual and unique stories. So there's bio-individuality. But at the same time, there's just a lot to it. It's very complex. And this plays into the idea of people making content with this stuff, leveraging this stuff, selling a program, a plan, a product. I totally get it. I want to cut through that and come at this as honest as possible. Again, journalistic integrity. So much content coming up. I have a lot in mind, and I was just kind of, you know, biting my tongue, holding off on this stuff. But I just saw a video pop up where people were talking about this whole carnivore thing, people quitting carnivore, and I get it. And I've done some experimentation myself where I'm, you know, just fully animal-based, meat and fat for days and days and days. And I've done vegan, I've done vegetarian, I've done all these different modalities, all these different lifestyles, right? But just recently, I did an experiment where I added back carbs. and it was very interesting. We're going to talk about that in some upcoming videos. But I was in the car. Last time I kind of did a wave of videos. I started with a car video, so I'm in the car warming it up on my way to the gym. So I figured, hey, let me go ahead and just record a video, something I need to have been doing a long time ago. First video on this channel for the year, which is just crazy. But I told you why. I gotta protect my sanity, right, with this stuff. And it's just got a lot going on. My video work is just going crazy. And working on a very interesting project where I'm gonna offer up so much value. Ideas from myself, my thinking, but at the same time, I got interview content coming up with a lot of different personal trainers, nutrition coaches, and I'm going to be doing some interviews, in-person interviews, and more long-range, podcast style interviews as well. Stay tuned. AM1 Lifestyle.